Hello and welcome back. In this video, we are going to speak about the relationship between the controller, the service, and the repository layer. So Spring Boot is a layered architecture, and this helps us to write a modular and maintainable code. So any code that you write that is not modular, that is not maintainable, will be a headache to any developer who is reading your code. So basically, this concept of controller, service, and repository is very, very important when it comes to Spring Boot application. I will teach you the relationship between these three things: the controller, the service, and repository. Basically, a controller handles the request, the incoming requests. The service handles the business logic. The repository interacts with the database. It interacts with the database data access layer. So what happens when a client sends an HTTP GET request to retrieve maybe user data? Which hits method? It hits a method in the controller. The controller method is mapped to URL using at get mapping. So what happens at the controller level? At the controller level, the controller receives the request and passes it to the service layer. The service layer applies business logic or validation. Some of the business logics are, the if else, the validations. Are these fields mandatory? Is this correct emails? Those are some of the things or some of the logics that happens at the service layer. So the service layer calls the repository where possible if it involves data handling that is stored maybe in the database. If the service needs data from the database, it calls the user repository. The repository interacts with the database, fetching or saving data that is requested. So, and once the service layer gets the data, it returns back the control to the controller layer, which supplies that information to the end user, which may be a client on the web application. So basically, when you are developing your Spring Boot application, as we shall see in the next video, it is good to organize your code into packages. At least you have a package for controllers, at least you have a package for service, and at least you have a package for repository. Make your code modular. And once your code is in modular form, it will be very easy for you to maintain. So we will not deep dive into these layers, but once we start coding, we will see the logic behind them in details, most especially the repository. The repository, as I have said, it contains it is a way of interacting with the databases. So this layer interacts directly with the database and do some data manipulation. So I think that is it for this video. Let us meet in the next video. In the next video, we shall start now building a practical Spring Boot application. This will not just be a simple to-do list. It will be a good application that I will cover most of the concept in a real-world Spring Boot application. Thank you.